Oh yeah, it was something I will never forget. Um, yeah, we went on a recruiting trip up to Allentown, Pennsylvania to see Michelle, and we had to cancel for some reason. We had to cancel the meeting one other time, and we were flying up, and I still wasn't sure that Pat actually. None of us were like all for Pat getting on that airplane. But her determination and stubbornness, it's like, no, we've already canceled one time. We're gonna go. So, okay, so we get on the airplane. um, Everything was going okay until we landed in Allentown, and I heard her kind of groan and moan a little bit. And so I look over at her and I said, what's wrong, are you okay? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to get to the ladies' room quick. And I said, why? She said, well, I think my water broke. And I'm like, being a single person and not knowing a lot about what goes on with deliveries of a baby, I'm like, now what does that exactly mean, Pat? She said, well, that means that I could be going into labor at any minute. And I said, oh no, we're not getting off this plane. I said, we need to turn and go back. She's like, oh no. She goes, no, I'm gonna go in and call my doctor, Dr. Brapson, and see what he thinks. And I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be all right. Well, I'm just trusting her. I'm like, okay, okay, if you say so. And so the pilots heard it. And so one of the pilots ran back and said, no, no, we need to stay on this airplane and go back to Knoxville, because they had both had children. Like, oh, I was with my wife and I was, I've been through it. And Pat goes, no. She goes, I'm going to go in and I'm going to call my doctor. Whatever he says, I'll do it. Well, I knew she was going to go in and try to talk him into letting her stay. So she did. And she came out and said, Dr. Brampton said I could stay. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, you're sure? She goes, yes. So we got the rental car, headed to Michelle's. And she started kind of like moaning and groaning. She started like, hurting a little bit. And I said, Pat, we should not do this. I said, she goes, we've already canceled one time. We're not canceling again. Let's get to Michelle's. And we're not going to say a word about it to anybody in that house. I said, fine. So we go in. Well, Betsy, the mother, was there. And Michelle, the daddy, and the brother hadn't gotten in from work and school. So we walk in, and Betsy said, hey, how are y'all doing? I goes, oh, we're great. We're great. And about that time, she kind of had a little bit of a cramp. I guess it's labor pain, maybe. And Betsy goes, Pat, what's wrong? And she said, well, Betsy, I'm going to tell you, but you have to promise that you don't tell Michelle or anybody else. But my water broke, and I could start having contractions. And Betsy said, oh my God, we need to get you back to Knoxville. Pat goes, no, we're going to do this visit. Mickey's going to do it. She knows what, she does them all the time. Don't worry about it. So by the time Michelle and they all get home, well, they're like, hey, Pat, hugging her. And she's like, hey, how, they didn't know a thing. So we sit down, and I have my little book, my presentation ready to go. So I'm going, okay, let's sit and let's get started. So Pat goes, now Mickey's going to be doing it, but I'll be in and out if you have questions. So Pat would get up just like every 5 to 8 minutes and go in the kitchen. And I could hear her talking to her doctor. And so I'm still trying to do the presentation. These are the dorms. This is, how we will do this. And this is when we'll lift weights and all the opportunities, and going through the whole recruiting spiel. And so I could hear her going, oh, and I could hear her moaning and groaning in the kitchen. And then Betsy was in there with her, the mother. Well, so they were so distracted with all that going on. So I knew it was like a ridiculous presentation. And so Pat finally comes back in, and she goes, DeMoss, we need to go. I said, okay. I said, and Michelle, once you get to Tennessee, and she said, no, right? now. And I went, okay, folks, that about wraps this up. And I said, we're going to get on that airplane. We're going to head on back. And about that time, Pat goes, Michelle, I'm just going to tell you. She goes, I have gone into labor. And Michelle goes, what? And everybody gets all excited. The brother's like, oh my God. And so the contractions started happening quicker. And so I'm like, my mind just went blank. I'm thinking, I don't know how to get back to the airport. I have no clue how to get back to the airport because that was before GPS, And I said, oh my God. I said, tell me again how to get back to the airport. And Michelle goes, just follow me and her brother, and we'll take you. We get in the car, follow them to the airport, and we are driving. And Pat's got her feet on the dashboard, going into these major, yelling and like she's in pain and all this. And I'm just beating on the steering wheel. I said, we should have called an ambulance. We could have gotten here quicker. And I'm in congestion. The traffic has stopped, and I'm just about to die. And I'm like, and she said, DeMoss, you need to calm down. She said, you're not the one having this baby. And I said, okay, you're right. I'm not. Thank God. And so we drive on. We get to is a charter place. We park. Pat gets out. The pilots, we'd call the pilots from Michelle's and told them we were on our way, have the plane ready. So they were ready to go when we landed. And so I jump out and I'm thinking, I don't have time to go turn this car back in. I was like, Michelle, your brother got to go turn the rental car in. I got to go. And she's like, yeah, we'll get it turned in. So I'm running around. They'd already got on the plane. All the planes looked alike to me. I couldn't figure out which plane we were, all these charter planes. And so the pilots are running out. They're going, Mickey, over here. And so I finally found the plane. I get on. And so Pat's like moaning and groaning. And I sit down next to her like, oh my God, Pat. And she goes, here, take this. So she hands me a little cup, and it has a cup full of Jack Daniels in it. And I said, oh my God. I said, where'd you get this? She goes, I made Steve, was one of the pilots. I made Steve go next door to the plane next door and get whatever they had. And they had some Jack Daniels. I said, that'll do. So I said, is this for you or for me? And she said, oh, no, that's for you. That's for you. I said, oh God, thank God. So I just took a big swig of it, and I went, oh, okay, I feel better now. I said, I feel better. I said, just tell me what you want me to do. She goes, get those pamphlets out of my briefcase and start reading them. And so I'm digging, and I've got a whole stack of pamphlets on how to birth a baby. It's like when the contractions get this close and this happens, and you've got to make sure that, this and that. I'm going, Pat, you've got to be kidding me. I said, I know nothing about this. I know nothing. She goes, I know, just keep reading. Just keep reading. And so then the guys kept saying, hey, ladies, we're fine. And listen, we can sit this plane down any place you want to from here to Knoxville. We'll have people on the ground waiting on us. If you need to, And Pat would go, DeMoss, don't let those pilots put this plane down anywhere but Knoxville, Tennessee. And I said, and I knew when not to argue with her. There were some things we could debate, some things we could compromise with. That I knew I couldn't. And I said, you got it, Pat, you got it. No, we're going to Knoxville. So then it got worse. We finally took off, and the pilots, I went up there. I said, hey, guys, how long is this going to take? Because it took us about maybe 2 to 2.5 hours to get up there. They said, this thing will be wide open. We will have it wide open. We're thinking a little bit less than 2 hours we can get back. Well, 2 hours to me is like a lifetime with this going on, So the contractions started getting worse, more frequent. And she got on the floor of the airplane and was leaning over the seat. And I said, just tell me, Pat, what can I do right now? What can I do? And it was just killing me because it sounded like she was hurting so bad. She goes, Okay, so in between, no, when the contractions started, if you'll just get down and massage my lower back, like her lower back was really hurting. And I was like, okay, fine, fine. So she'd say, now, now. So I jumped down and I had a skirt on and I had hiked my skirt was hiked up because I had to bend down and I was massaging the back. The pilots were going, everything okay back there? And I was like, oh yeah, it's great. And so I was massaging and I was trying to think of things to say to her. We're coaches. And so I'm trying to motivate her and help her ease the pain. So I said, Pat, I said, just think about Ruthie Bolton, who was an Olympian and we all knew Ruthie Bolton at the time, great player from Auburn. And I said, just think, Ruthie Bolton's mother had 20 kids. She had 20. Surely you can have one. Come on now. Surely you will. She goes, I got it, DeMoss. Don't worry about it. I've got it. And I'd go, okay, okay. So then she'd start getting a lot of pain again. A lot of pain. Oh, God, and all this moaning and groaning. So I'd get down, I start massaging. I said, think about your sister-in-law. Think about your sister-in-law. She wasn't even an athlete. And she had 2 kids. She had 2. She goes, DeMoss, I'm not worried about the pain. Forget the pain. I said, okay, okay. I said, what are you worried about? She goes, I'm worried about having this baby on this airplane. And I said, well, that makes 2. Yeah, that makes 2 of us. And so about that time, the pilots knew that the contractions were getting closer together and all this stuff. And they kept calling me up to the front going, I was with my wife when she had her baby. And Mickey, this isn't good. This isn't good. We've called Richmond, Virginia, and they're going to have an ambulance waiting on us. They've got the medical alerts. And we can put this plane down in Richmond, Virginia in the next 15 minutes. And I said, okay, let me go back. So she had like radar ears. So when I went back there, she goes, DeMoss, I'm going to tell you one more time. You go tell those pilots that if they land this plane anywhere but Knoxville, Tennessee, they will have a mad woman on their hands. I said, got it, Pat. So I went back up there. I said, guys, they said, we heard her. We heard her. I said, just keep going fast as you can. I said, we'll get it. We'll make it. We'll get there. Just fast as you can get us there. So they had the hammer down now. So I went back. And so she was still leaning over. And you could see out of the window. And I'll never forget Jellicoe Mountain, the big mountain between Knoxville and Lexington. And I could see that mountain. I recognized it. I said, Pat, we're over Jellicoe Mountain right now. I said, we got this. I said, we got this. I said, we're going to make it. And, we're going to be there. They got an ambulance waiting on you. Our B will be there. We'll put you right in that ambulance and you're going to be fine. And she's like, okay, okay. She said, now you're going to be in the ambulance with me, right? Well, I couldn't get out of there. I said, well, no. I said, no, I don't think I'm going to go in the ambulance. I said, I'm not sure why you would want me in that ambulance. She said, well, you're the only one that knows what to do. I said, I know you're delirious now. I said, because I go from reading pamphlets to being the only one that knows what to do. I said, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. You're going to have experts there that are going to be waiting on you. I said, I will meet you at the hospital. And she's like, okay, okay. So we landed. And I mean, that was the quickest, exit after we landed, that we got to the airport. And we got there, we could see the lights and all that, the ambulance. And they got her off the airplane and, they got her in the ambulance. And I mean, when I saw her get in that ambulance, I broke down. I mean, I was that stressed, that emotional. I just went up and all 3 of me and the 2 pilots just hugged, because it was just one of the longest 2 hours of my life and emotional. It was very, very stressful and emotional. And so one of the pilots said, "Come on, Mickey, let's go in the office." He says, "I keep a bottle of whiskey in my desk." I said, "Let's do it, guys. Let's do it." So we all went and had a toast. Um, and then I went up to the hospital and it called Holly and said, "Hey, Holly." She goes, "I knew something was wrong in Moss because you were so calm." You said, "Holly, hey, just wanted to let you know that Pat's in labor." She's like, "What?" And then I said, "Well, listen, I had been through it. I had no emotion left. So Holly and I both went up, and we were in the room when Tyler was born.